world of pro wrestling, it's bigger than ever. So how can you possibly keep up with everything that's happening? Just pro wrestling news. Don't fear falling behind. Give us just 5 minutes every morning, and we'll catch you up on the biggest news in the world of pro wrestling. No filler, no rumors, no spoilers, no pop-ups. Just pro wrestling news. Subscribe on your favorite podcast app or tell your smart speaker to play the Just Pro Wrestling News podcast. Find out more. Go to justprowrestlingnews.com.
The future of the business.
But Shirley Doe wants to put out that light. He wants to extinguish the flame that burns with Lee Moriarty. He wants to put his star down. Now, Paul, we have some unique rules in this rounds matchup. If you don't mind, I'll give our fans a quick synopsis of what you're about to see.
Sure, let's give them the rundown.
A rounds matchup. The rounds system was originally developed in the World of Sport style in the UK, a European style where, quite simply as it sounds, each round will consist of 3 minutes. In the European style, names like Johnny Saint, Tony St. Clair, Marty Jones, of course William Regal, Fit Finlay, several athletes created a legacy of this style. It's a very famous style, again, over in the UK, throughout Europe. Catch Wrestling CWA with Otto Vaughns in Europe throughout the years. What you're going to see here is the strategy of these matches, because they are a round system, it really provokes a offensively minded matchup because you only have those 3 minutes at a time to work through those matches.
Yeah, and I have to say, I think this style is going to benefit Lee Moriarty more than Shirley Doe, believe it or not.
Absolutely, because for the first 4 rounds of this matchup, it's standard rules. In the 5th round, it would be anything goes to determine a winner.
Right, and I think right now Shirley Doe's, if he has any strategy, it's going to be to try to get to that 5th round.
2 minutes remaining in the first round.
Shoots the half here.
Remaining.
Front chantry by Lee. Doe sits out. Front chantry. And look how Doe still able to wrestle circles around the young apex of combat. And that's what makes Doe so damn dangerous, because he has all of those skills in his toolbox and he uses all of them to punish his opponents.
Sure, I mean, we look at Shirley Doe and think of her as a sadistic individual that just likes to punish and brutalize people. But this man is trained in the dojos of Japan. He knows professional wrestling inside and out. He knows his holds, he knows his maneuvers. And he's showing it right here.
Notice how Doe, back heel trip, maintains control of the ankle and looks to wrench away here. Moriarty floats over, uses his own momentum to escape. Borrowing the arm here.
Going for that ankle is sound strategy by Doe. Of course, a lot of Lee Moriarty's maneuvers come from his leaping and jumping ability.
We've talked about it on several occasions. Lee Moriarty studies every style of professional wrestling, including this heavily influenced in the European style. Shoulders down here. And notice how we immediately tried to attack that arm because, again, in the rounds system, you have to push forward.
Sure.
Paul, a note that I think is worth to be mentioning. Just last month, Lee Moriarty had a series of matches with Alex Shelley, who is well known for his European style. So Lee bringing his recent experience into the stronghold here.
Sure, it's like I said, the man is money. He's traveling the country. He's been to Mexico. I know he has plans. He's trying to get to Japan. This guy is just he's
10 seconds remaining in the first round.
And here it becomes, and look at Moriarty manipulating the digits of Shirley Doe.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And if he breaks Doe's wrist, excuse me, I'm not going to feel bad for Shirley Doe. A few broken appendages are the very least that this man deserves.
Hey, let's face it, he wouldn't hesitate to break your arm, so. Oh, well, good. Derek's going to kiss it and make it better.
You know, Paul, love is love. Those are two evil guys.
That was a little uncomfortable for me, I got to admit.
because they're two evil individuals.
All right.
There's no love in the heart of Shirley Doe for anybody.
I don't think the man has a heart.
And I believe we officially start round 2 here. Doe with a front face lock. And notice how he tripped Moriarty and floated over into full mount here. And this is where Doe can use that Japanese influence that you mentioned to rain down some shots. Lee out the back door, and he slaps on an ankle lock. And quite frankly, I hope Lee breaks his damn ankle. And if you're wondering why Doe would opt for a slap in that exchange, you do not want to break your hand in a rounds matchup.
No, not at all.
Because in between rounds, your opponent can try to recover, which could put you in peril if you're going in with an injury in the later rounds. And what a forearm from Moriarty.
Lee can throw some very heavy forearms. There's no two ways about it.
Oh, God, you heard that.
Wow, that was a hell of a reciprocation.
2 minutes remain in round 2. 2 minutes remain.
Paul, you talked about Moriarty's aspirations to travel internationally to Japan. Kachitori Shibata is one of his influences, and that's what you're seeing here. A lot of those strikes are from that constant study of the apex of combat. He truly earns that moniker.
Sure, this guy does his homework.
Axe kick to the sternum there, which again, I don't feel bad for Doe. And perhaps Moriarty wants to extend this matchup for the opportunity to beat Doe down.
Yeah.
But that shows you the psychological effect that Shirley Doe is having on the apex of combat.
Sure, we mentioned it last month on our anniversary event. You know, Doe has brought out a very different style of Lee Moriarty, a very different Lee Moriarty. Lee is actually becoming somewhat more vicious in his tactics, and you know, Lee would not be one to bend or fracture a rule, but that's not the case here anymore.
The scars on the soul of the apex of combat from this rivalry may never fade, Paul.
No, not at all.
This war with Doe may fundamentally change who Moriarty is as he drives the knees into the chest. And I'm not sure why Derek Direction is being allowed out here, by the way. He doesn't have a manager's license. But then again, if you get security to physically remove Derek Direction, it interrupts this event, which is exactly what the Grindhouse wants as Moriarty drops the feet down across Doe.
That forearm right across the jaw, too, as he made that pin attempt.
10 seconds remain in round 2. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And to your point earlier, Paul, these early rounds are favoring Moriarty because this is the second round in a row where he was seconds away from securing a potential submission win when this rounds system came into play.
Come on! There's no winners in these rounds. This isn't a straight match.
Oh, that's the other thing we got to mention here. It's the one useful thing that Derek Direction may have contributed to this broadcast. These rounds are not scored individually.
You ready? 4. Got time. I'm getting real sick of this. 5.
Now, this is almost individual war game style. There's not going to be a winner determined until we get to that 5th round.
If we get to the 5th round. And if anything goes, here's exactly what's going to happen. Oh, God. Look at the jaw ricochet on impact as Doe tries to smash Moriarty with those shots.
Yeah, I'd mentioned those forearm shots by Lee Moriarty and how heavy they are. But yeah,
Oh,
without
God.
a doubt,
Listen to that
one.
sickening thud. The contact, the thud, those audible impact tells the story. Jumping knee caught Doe on the button. That could be a knockout shot.
Right between the eyes with that shot. Did Lee catch Doe on that one? Now,
And
wait a
what's
minute.
Direction doing out there? And Derek Direction not only blindsided Lee with a gallon of water, he may have taken out one of our cameras.
He just literally just slammed that into the side. You know, I know that's water, but when you got a gallon of water.
2 minutes remain in round 3. 2 minutes remaining.
And that's how much Derek Direction does not care about anybody here, because he could have ruined our damn equipment from IndyWrestling.us, who bring these events to the masses.
Man, they need to fix this building. It looks like
You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Derek Direction is a damn slime ball. He is a walking disease to professional wrestling.
And they just played this referee perfect. As Shirley Doe got his attention while Derek Direction did the damage.
high quality H2O.
And those Kawada-style kicks, another Japanese competitor that influenced Doe. Paul, let me ask you something. How sick does Doe have to be that he revels in this response from the audience? He revels, he gets off on hatred.
Well, the man is pure evil. We've known that for a long, long time. He has no heart. His soul is black as coal. I mean, this guy is just, he just doesn't care. Humanity means nothing to Shirley Doe.
Stiff, short arm clothesline sends the apex of combat back down to the canvas.
Get that shot right there. Get that shot. Get that shot.
And Paul, I have told you and our audience on many
10
occasions
seconds remain in round 3.
how talented
9,
Lee Moriarty
8,
is.
7,
But I am legitimately
6,
concerned that Shirley Doe may
5,
try to end Lee's
4,
career
3,
at any moment.
2, 1.
That's exactly what he's trying to do, is end Lee Moriarty's career. Doe does not want to win a wrestling match. He wants to physically harm Lee Moriarty. And that has been his plan for nearly a year now.
And as we're seeing these rounds progress, Doe is getting the upper hand here.
Yeah, I really thought this round system would be more beneficial to Lee, but right now, it seems like Shirley Doe has found another gear here.
And you know as well as I do, if they get to the 5th round, the first thing that Derek Direction is going to do is blindside Moriarty.
Oh, I'm sure.
And this is where Lee cannot be. He can't get boxed in the corner with Doe.
I'll fight anybody. Any of you guys want to fight me, I'll fight you.
I think Doe may have caught Moriarty in the ear that time.
Yeah, knocked his equilibrium off. Lee now trying to fight up from the canvas with those kicks.
And finally catching Doe in the head may have provided Lee a moment of surcease from the assault from Doe.
Don't you reach for these ropes.
And this is again the sadistic six-sided Doe.
Yeah, wrenching on the neck.
Yeah, I mean, he's twisting the man's neck, Paul. I mean, if he injures Moriarty's neck, that could put him on the shelf for an extended amount of time.
That could end his career.
You know, Paul, I've given Doe credit for all of his accomplishments in professional wrestling.
2 minutes
But
remain.
the things that he has done inside this building are reprehensible. They really are.
Oh, I'm not going to disagree with you one iota.
Shotgun drop kick from Lee.
Since coming to Ryse Wrestling, he has had a vendetta not only against this company, but against everyone in it. I mean, as we've seen in the past, no one, including our owner's wife, Christy Kay, has been safe from Shirley Doe.
Diving European uppercut in the corner. And the apex of combat is reaching a second gear.
He's trying to dig down deep now, is Lee Moriarty. He's going to have to if he wants to survive the rest of this matchup.
Asshole. You said give him a kiss. That's from a
That's one of the things I'll agree with Derek Direction on. There's no reason to hate anybody for beliefs or whatever. You know, hey, can't we all get along somehow, some way?
I don't know. Some guys just don't know. They just don't learn.
Look out here. Racking the neck of Doe there. And again, I'm not going to cry any tears for Shirley Doe. Jumping bicycle kick. And Doe is down. We have another knockout scenario here. Doe is not moving, and Derek is trying to revive him. Direction frantically trying to fan Doe to bring him to.
Yeah, and Lee's still trying to clear some of the cobwebs out of his head alone. And, you know, like we said before, Lee is a very accomplished
10
athlete.
minutes, or 10 seconds remaining in round 4. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now we're going to round 5, Paul, which means you and I both know that it's no secret what's going to happen here.
Absolutely not. This is now.
Although if Doe's out of it, maybe Direction would have to defend Doe temporarily. I'm not sure what the hell is going to happen here because the Grindhouse is so damn unpredictable. No one is safe from these guys.
Well, Doe's stirring slightly here, so he's at least somewhat conscious.
Get up, wake up.
Referee exercising a 10 count here.
Wait a minute, cover here. Very smart by Moriarty. And if this was a normal matchup, that obviously could have been a 3 count about 10 or 15 seconds ago.
But was that the plan all along? Was that the plan all along to bait Moriarty in?
Axe kick to the shoulder blades. And Lee may try to stomp Doe into submission. And Doe has earned each and every one of these shots. He's earned each and every one of these kicks.
Now, Lee knew going into this he may have to go to a place where he doesn't want to go if he wants a victory in this match here tonight. If he wants to eradicate Shirley Doe from Ryse Wrestling, he knew he may have to cross a border here.
And for the first time in this matchup, Doe seems a little helpless. I wonder if he likes how that feels. Like when Christy K was helpless.
Sure.
Wait, Lee's perched up top.
Wow.
Diving shot to the back of the head.
Drilled him right at the base of the neck.
Damn it.
Moriarty's beside himself now. I know he's got to be wondering, what does he have to do to end this thing?
Lee is going to a very sadistic place to compete with Doe here. And what's Doe reaching for in his pocket? I don't know what Doe had in his hand. A boxing elbows here. Silly head two, Doe hit it. Oh, man.
He just jacked his jaw right up with that shot.
Paul, we may be out of this thing.
That was a vicious shot from Shirley Doe there.
You could see how Doe just bull rushed with all of his momentum connected right on the point of Lee's jaw.
Direction sliding a chair, and it's legal. This is anything goes.
And this is Doe's true objective. He wants to hurt Moriarty. He wants to put the brightest star in Pittsburgh out of this sport. Turnabout fair play.
And Moriarty just lit him up with that kick.
Now wait a minute, what the hell does Direction have?
Some sort of powder.
The Direction has those glasses on. What a clown.
Yeah, well, that affected him a lot.
Now wait, Moriarty's got Doe in the ring. Derek's on the floor. Clearly, Derek Direction is going to try to get involved in this thing. Look out!
Moriarty just tried to neutralize that factor.
Into the seats. And he lands on his feet. That is the apex of combat right there. And now wait a minute, now we see what Doe was reaching for in that pocket. A trap. This was a setup, a damn trap. Oh, God.
He just flipped him, took him right out of his shoes. Doe announcing that this is the end of it here now.
And Doe's looking for something, and he knows where to look. And again, I shudder to think, what the hell?
Heck has he got there?
Is that a toolbox?
A miniature toolbox of some sort?
Paul, somebody's going to have to step in here because Moriarty's going to, I know it's anything goes, but.
It's a chain. He's got a chain.
Like I said, that was too convenient. We know exactly what they were going for here. Doe knew exactly what he was trying to do, and he's going to try to knock Moriarty's head off with the damn chain.
But unfortunately, it's
Come on,
legal.
George.
This is anything goes. George can't do anything about it.
But this could be Moriarty's career, Paul.
You're gonna die.
Thankfully, Moriarty countered it. And I hope he breaks Doe's damn arm.
He's got it locked in here. He's got that arm bar locked in, trying to reposition himself.
Oh, he broke the fingers, and Doe deserves it.
Lee trying to tie him up with that chain now.
That chain is wrapped around Doe's face,
Around
his neck,
his arm.
and he may break the arm. He may pop that elbow, and Doe is tapping out. I have never seen Doe submit.
Your winner as a result of a submission, Tiger Style.
I have followed Doe's career for almost 2 decades. I've never seen him tap out.
No. Incredible what we have just seen here. Lee Moriarty is causing Shirley Doe to tap out with that arm bar, with that chain wrapped around him.
It was a violent spectacle.
And we knew it would be.
There were bruises. There's possibly broken bones. But I'm going to tell you what, Paul, I don't give a damn. I'm throwing impartiality out the window. Shirley Doe deserved everything that just happened to him. No sympathy for the man that attacked Christy King. No sympathy for the man that low blows Brandon King.
Submission, Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty.
Lee Moriarty has once and for all hopefully put an end to this between himself and Shirley Doe.
A measure of revenge for the apex of combat in this war with the Grindhouse.
This war between Ryse Wrestling and the Grindhouse, it's over!
Lee Moriarty declaring the battle. The war is done. Victory being claimed by Lee Moriarty.
Well, Derek Direction is calling for help. I don't think there should be any.
Hello, friends. I'm Drapel in the mainstream media.
And I'm the Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. And you know where we can combine that?
Yes,
On the Wrestling Mayhem.
that's right.
I'm not sure how much of our crew caught that. Doe came over here and wrecked our damn table.
I don't know what the hell his problem is, getting up in your face. You didn't do nothing.
I've been told we're still on, so thank God for that. And here, January 10th, 2020, Paul, our first grand championship matchup of the new year will be the man that came almost as close as Tony Johnson did to defeating Matt Connor for that championship. The Bearcat, Keith Haught. And what a story it would be if Keith Haught is able to win his first Ryse Grand Championship here in the new year.
Yeah, as we saw in our video package before, Keith Haught actually pinned Matt Connor. Unfortunately, the title was returned to Matt Connor after that match due to a technicality. But now he's going to get his fair title shot, as Tony Johnson said earlier tonight.
It's gonna be some dread.
After wrestling his way through the Rise of a Contender tournament, it was the Iceman Tony Johnson doing what nearly no one else could do as he dethroned the Reaper Matt Connor for the Ryse Grand Championship. It was an emotional night as the main event collectively celebrated at Ryse's biggest event on the calendar, the 3rd anniversary spectacular. However, we're going to see, was that emotional victory, how draining was it for the Iceman, and will he be able to refocus himself not as challenger, but as champion?
What was that?
Introducing first the challenger from where the wild things are, weighing in tonight at 238 pounds, he is the Bearcat, Keith Haught. And introducing his opponent, from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in tonight at 195 pounds, he is the Ryse Grand Champion, the Iceman, Tony Johnson.
Once again, January 10th of 2020, my name is Jim Amata, being joined by Pittsburgh legend Paul Atlas. This is your feature presentation being presented to you via IndyWrestling.us and the Indie Wrestling Network. It is the Iceman Tony Johnson making his first title defense against the Bearcat Keith Haught.
The era of Tony Johnson kicks off here tonight. This is where we find out. Tony Johnson went through all those men on his way in the Rise of a Contender, beat Matt Connor in the championship match last month, our feature presentation. But here's where Tony Johnson may just find out it's a lot easier to get to the top of the mountain as it is to stay there.
And that's the one thing I wanted to ask you, Paul, before we really get hot and heavy into these things here. You've won numerous championships throughout your career. If we name them all, quite frankly, we wouldn't have enough time on a broadcast. What is it like when you switch roles from challenger to champion? What added pressure? How is that different? How will Johnson specifically have to adjust his game in the role of champion?
Well, let's face it. You go from being the hunter to being the hunted. You go from single-mindedly going after one man in an attempt to get his championship to having people coming at you from all sides to get that championship from you. So it's a totally different mindset. Again, you focus on one man, you get the championship, but now you've got to focus on all the contenders that want that championship.
Absolutely. It's as much of a mental exercise as it is a physical exercise in terms of staying focused. And Johnson picks the ankle, showing off his agility, but Haught counters with a go behind. And these two do know each other very, very well. They've competed against and beside each other several times throughout their career. Johnson shoots in for the leg, sits out, front chantry. Keith does the same. And notice how Johnson, sign of a true champion, got his shoulders off the canvas immediately.
He did immediately try to roll back to that vertical base. And a nice exchange there by these two gentlemen.
And you can see how well they know each other, how evenly matched this contest is.
Our crowd's somewhat split here, it seems.
Yeah, certainly I believe this crowd appreciates the fact that these two athletes really want to put out the best title defenses possible, the best matches possible, the best action possible, the best competition possible. This Keith trying to really cinch in now on that headlock. Roll through here, captures the leg momentarily.
Yeah,
and notice how Johnson was defensively wrestling and ended up being a pinfall predicament for Keith Haught.
Sure, and look, there's a quite difference here in these two gentlemen. Both have leverage, but both have leverage in a different way. Keith Haught has that low center of gravity, where Tony Johnson has that height advantage.
And that's what I think we're really seeing play out here is they try to figure out, who's going to get the advantage. Johnson right now, as he grabs head control. Keith gets out. And if you notice here, the reason why you're not seeing any quick burst, so to speak, for lack of a better term, is because no one wants to make a mistake when you're on this stage. Because quite frankly, this opening feature presentation for the year could really set the tone for the rest of the year.
Sure.
Someone here, whether it be Johnson or Keith Haught, they want to make 2020 the year that they solidify themselves in the annals of Pittsburgh wrestling history.
Sure. Not only that, like we mentioned before, these guys know each other inside and out. So they know each other's strengths, they know each other's weaknesses. So they're going to do everything they can not to let the other one exploit any of those weaknesses.
As the Pittsburgh region has so much history behind it, the Brunos, the Shane Douglases, the Kurt Angles, the Matt Connors, the Jack Pollocks, the Sterling James Keenan, Shima Zion, etc., etc. There really is such a standard for who really represents the Pittsburgh area, and the Grand Championship is a part of that pecking order.
Sure.
Beautiful agility by Johnson. Nice Japanese arm drag to come through by Keith Haught. They know each other so well, as you pointed out. But as I was saying, when you have that extensive history all the way back to Chuck Martoni, Hurricane Hunt, etc., etc., you go back to even studio wrestling days. I mean, even when you were a youngster.
Thank you.
I mean, when you have that much history in one particular region, and there's obviously throughout the country, there's different spots that have deep wrestling roots. When you have that wrestling history that really, there's a lot of pressure to live up to being a champion in Pittsburgh.
Oh, there's no two ways about that.
This is a blue-collar city, and, I'm going to give you a shout-out to the late, great Grandpa Lamana, a steel mill worker for 30 years, World War II veteran. There's not only is there so much history, but there's so much – everyone has that connection in some form or fashion to the blue-collar style of Pittsburgh wrestling.
Oh, there's no
You got to earn it, and no doubt Johnson earned that championship, but he's going to have to defend it.
By 5 minutes.
Sure, and to some degrees, Keith Haught deserved the right to be here as well. As we stated before, had it not been for a technicality, he would have been the champion that Tony Johnson may have faced at the anniversary event.
Absolutely, that's a hell of a point. There's that low center of gravity reference to, man, deep European uppercut. You can hear those shots.
Yeah, this is breaking down here a little bit now from a catch-as-catch-can to a little bit of a brawl.
Paul, one of the things that make Keith Haught such a magnetic and charismatic person is that, to coin a phrase, he doesn't look like the athlete of the day is supposed to look. But the bottom line is he gets it done inside the squared circle.
As a little tribute there to the late, great Dusty Rhodes with the flip-flop and fly, like you said. Not like the athlete of the day.
And he doesn't need to be, because he gets it done in the ring his way.
Oh, there's no two ways about that. Keith Haught is proof that maybe you don't have to be 6'5" with abs to make it in this
Haught here, using those unique gifts in that exchange, using all of his weight to run over Johnson, who got his shoulders off the canvas.
And not only that, he got Johnson's own weight above his shoulders, if you noticed in that pin attempt.
And I believe it's those little nuances that you don't see in high-caliber matches outside of something like a feature presentation. It's those little things that make the true difference.
Sure it does.
Man, what a vertical leap. Pinpoint precision from Johnson.
Yeah, he caught him right on the top of the head with that kick.
2 count there.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that the size differential may have worked to Tony Johnson's disadvantage on that kick. On a normal person, he would have caught them right on the jaw. But he kind of caught Keith on the top of the head, a little bit harder part of the skull, which may have saved Keith from getting pinned there.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, Paul, I mean, this may sound maybe a little too cliche, but I think it fits anyway. There really is something special with Ryse Pro Wrestling.
Oh, there's no two ways about that. The top competitors are here at Ryse Wrestling to compete because this is the place to be right now.
And Johnson launching himself at Keith Haught. That was a rough collision on the ropes. Hooks the leg. Not enough of a weight distribution on the back press allowed Keith to get that left shoulder up.
Yeah, Tony was more over the midsection than over the shoulders.
Which may be a sign of just how exhausting this matchup is becoming.
Well, you can see Keith Haught right now. He looks like he's trying to get his wind as this match progresses here. You know, and unfortunately, like, you know, we did make the statement, you know, Keith Haught is not the athlete of the day, and that could be a disadvantage in the point of, like, right now, you can see his chest is heaving heavy. He's trying to suck for breath right now. You know, at some point, stamina may come into play here.
Yeah, it's a simple case of biology in some respects. He just has more mass to move around. He's going to need more oxygen to do that.
Sure.
A look out. And again, using that unique frame to his advantage. And Keith Haught is inching closer to that elusive championship victory. And as devastating as it would be to Tony Johnson to lose the championship on his first title defense, it would be a championship coronation for Keith Haught, who has worked just as hard as Johnson over these years.
Sure.
Again, using that unique frame, hurling his body at Johnson for offense. Hooks the leg.
Johnson just getting that shoulder off the canvas.
And Paul, one thing that you've stressed throughout our time broadcasting here at Ryse is how important something as elementary as hooking the leg is. If you notice, these two feature presentation athletes never fail to do so.
No, and it's the little things like that that make or break you in a match of this caliber.
Stiff shot. Keith going for that backslide, shoulders down. Oh, jumping knee caught Keith, I believe, in the temple, and he clearly is staggered.
He landed that one perfectly.
As Keith is quite literally on the ropes, does Johnson have enough left to really capitalize, to really push forward here?
Yeah, these guys have been going at it hard and heavy now for a good, probably close to 10 minutes. And you can tell it's taking its toll on both athletes.
Version of a Muay Thai clinch.
10 minutes.
Well, there you go. Been 10 minutes.
Keith may be favoring that lower back. To your point from earlier, Paul, he was hooking the ankle to try to fold Keith over even more so than usual.
Trying to use that weight of Keith Haught against him and get it over top of his shoulders. Forcing him not only to kick out, Johnson's weight, but his own weight as well.
And I think Keith is going to have to dig down here. How bad does he want that grand championship?
That kick.
Using his head as a battery ram of sorts. Both men, big mid-ring collision, go crashing to the canvas. And we're at a virtual stalemate here for the Ryse Grand Championship.
Both men out flat on their back. And I got to believe whoever can get to their feet first will have a distinct advantage right now in this matchup. That's if these men can both, either one of them can get to their feet right now.
Yeah, double countout would yield the title to the champion via a draw, and neither one of these athletes want that. I mean, we heard Johnson's intentions earlier in the night.
Wow, big open hand slap now.
I don't think even the ample beards of either of these gentlemen are going to pad those shots.
Not at all.
Johnson almost trying to box the chin of Keith Haught.
Sure. And,
And the feeling out process is over
I
here.
was gonna say, we talked about the friendship earlier, but that's going out the window now. These guys now realize they're in a fight for this grand championship.
And let's say it, Paul, I don't want to put the pressure on Keith Haught, but you know, he needed a fair shake at the championship, and he's getting it. If he comes up short here, he's virtually going back down to the bottom of the ladder.
Oh, he's going to have to. He's going to have to, because he will not have any complete. You know, before he had a case against Y. Look out here.
Hooks those ankles, victory roll. Johnson up and over.
Keith trying to block it. Tony Johnson was looking for it that time.
Yeah, you're correct, Paul. Keith went to the well once too often. Can't do that with an athlete the caliber of Johnson, who connects on the handspring. Home run shot, and he connected.
Tony's a bit beside himself after that.
So am I. I'm almost speechless. And talking is one of the few things I do well. And Johnson may have to go back to that title victory, may have to go back up top. But that's a risky shot to go for that kick off the top.
Sure he is here. But Tony Johnson has been known as a risk taker. He wants it all, so he's going to swing for the fences here. Keith Haught caught him, though.
I don't know if calling out the...
it might not be the best strategy.
Because he just alerted Tony Johnson to what he has planned. I mean, Keith is really, he's digging down. He's psyching himself up.
Sure, he has to.
Keith hangs on, precarious spot for everybody.
He's getting this shot by the grace of his friend Tony Johnson in the not so much of a fair shake he got against Connor.
Look out! Oh, man!
Bonsai.
We got a new champ! New champ! No, just barely.
I don't think you can get any closer than that, Jim.
There was just inches of daylight between Keith Haught and Tony Johnson, and that allowed the Iceman to get his shoulder up and save his title.
I don't know if taking a water break's very wise right now.
I'm not sure if Johnson knows where he is. He may have kicked out on instinct alone. Ducks the kick. Catches the bicycle kick. And you want to talk about getting gritty. Oh, head right to the chin.
Using that head as a battering ram now.
That's how you can dislocate your jaw.
Sure. And again, calling his shot, so to speak.
But hey, maybe it works for him. He's been unconventional the whole way. Why not stick with it? It may take him all the way to the Grand Championship. Could be going for that signature splash. No water in the pool. You were right, Paul. He called it out, telegraphed it, and paid for it.
I know Keith likes to get the fans involved, but sometimes calling your shot is going to work.
15 minutes going by, 15 minutes.
To your disadvantage, and it did so there for sure.
It may be detrimental to his efforts here. The champion measuring the challenger. Keith avoids the contact. High kick.
Keith did not miss with his, though.
Johnson may be out. Jumping knee.
Wow.
This is tenacity right here. This is unfiltered tenacity. You are seeing the caliber of champions right here.
And I'll tell you what, win, lose, or draw.
Oh, man.
Here on top.
That may be the shot that puts the Bearcat down.
Or it can be. As I was about to say, win, lose, or draw, no matter who comes out on top.
He did
Tony
it.
Johnson, but you know what? Neither of these men have anything to feel bad about. This was one hell of a matchup.
As a result of a pinfall, and still your Ryse Grand Champion, the Iceman, Tony Johnson.
That was as hard fought comes. And wait a minute, Privilege.
What's going on out here now?
Privilege and MV Young have just hit the ring picking the bones. And we just talked about it. These guys gave everything in their bodies.
What is going on here? This is ridiculous.
This is disgraceful. That's what this is.
They didn't win the tag title, so now they're going to come out here and jump the champion?
A couple of vultures as a gavel tattoos the Iceman with his own championship. And I know we got monitors back there. Let's get some security, some help, something.
We need to do something.
Hashtag Privilege is trying to stain this main event.
Lawless! You bitter little loser! Cut the bloody music! This is exactly the kind of thing that I'm here to stop! And the rest of you, recidivists! Not in my Ryse. Not in our Ryse.
Well, the GM's out here to put these guys in check, thankfully.
I'll stop all three of you miserable reprobates, myself, because I told you not to start the party without me.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Paul, they were playing with a marked deck. They were playing with a marked deck.
I don't believe what I'm seeing here.
The Gavel and Sterling were in this thing together. It didn't matter who won last month. The power is all the same. The whole scenario was rigged. And who the hell does Jim Sterling think he is?
What in the world?
What, this guy thinks because he has 1 million YouTube subscribers, he can come in here and try to have a hostile takeover?
Apparently that was the plan all along.
What the hell's your problem, Sterling?
Oh no! You think you've accomplished something tonight, gentlemen? You stand against the ruling class. You stand against not the general manager, but the executive commander of Ryse. And you inconceivable morons, have no idea what you've done. We shall make from your bodies a monument of pain. You stand against us, and you will burn. We will burn you.
This walking waterbed should get the hell out of here.
Seriously.
We got set up, Paul.
Unbelievable. This big glob of goo comes out here talking about the new Ryse, and then he gets in bed with these morons?
All right, Paul, I guess we're going to have to sign off here.
Might as well.
We can at least part with this shot. Tony Johnson, still Ryse Grand Champion.
The main event standing strong in the ring.
My name's Jim Amato. You're Paul Atlas. Ryse will debut in Baldwin, Pennsylvania on January 25th. Check out RyseWrestling.com, Ryse Wrestling on Facebook, and IndyWrestling.us for all the details. We will see you next time. Ryse in 2020 continues.